So welcome to the workshop When Theater Meets Zoom plus the e-spectator experience. This is a workshop organized by the working group Theatralia, and it's a part of a two-year project funded from the DARIAH EU funds called Performing Arts Transitioning to the Digital Age. I don't know if you know what the DARIAH consortium is. It is a consortium, European consortium called Digital Infrastructure for Arts and Humanities. It helps artists and scholars in the field of humanities to use digital technologies and to maybe get to know it, the concept of digital humanities and use it in their own work. So the aim of this conference and of this workshop was to bring together artists, performing artists, theater and performing arts scholars, maybe IT experts, information specialists, to see what are the possibilities and what are the implications of using digital technologies in performing arts. So we have together here, we brought together here Iva Srnec Hamer, who is the theater director from the Empiria Theater, an independent theater from Croatia, from Zagreb. Cécile Chantraine Braillon, a theater scholar from France, from the Université La Rochelle, and her team also from the Université La Rochelle and University of Lille. And Marko Milovac from and I will now give words to Iva and Cécile to guide you through this whole process. Also, if you have any question, feel free to ask in whatever moment you like.
Cécile, you want to start or you want me to start?
Oh, please start.
Okay. Okay. So my task was to do a 20-minute performance via Zoom by actors who have never performed by Zoom, and they hate Zoom altogether. So when we first started talking, Andrii Palatnyi, who is coming in about 15 minutes, is a Ukrainian director, and he launched War Diaries. And War Diaries is a project of his theater troupe. They filmed themselves during the first month of war, and they watched each other transition from the first day of the month till the 30th day of the month. And the goal was to see how their psyche and their body changed during the impact of war. So my job was to gather a troupe of actors. We have 5 great actors, and each of them performs a monologue from War Diaries. They do it via Zoom. And our first conversation was like, okay, so we're going to do a performance and you're going to be acting by Zoom, via Zoom platform. And their response was, it's not going to work. It can't be done. You can't act. It's Zoom. It's not live. You don't have the connection with the audience. It's not going to be emotional. And it was, okay, they were skeptical, which is fine. We started working, and as the rehearsals progressed, they were really starting to like this platform and acting and via Zoom, and it was really an experience for them. And later we're going to have a discussion about acting and what's happening with the performance bodies when you're acting in Zoom. Do they feel safer? Some of them say, yes, I feel safer because I'm alone and there is just this one camera and I feel like nobody's watching me. I feel safer. And we're gonna see what happens with them when they come to meet you, because the second part of the performance, first you're gonna see them via Zoom, and then they're gonna come here and they will do the part of the monologue live for you. And please pay attention to what happens with their bodies when they come here, and pay attention to what happens with them organically when they're alone in the room with the camera. And are they composed? Are they nervous? What's happening when Zoom meets the audience and when live performance meets the audience? So this was basically our job. This fragmented, we have a 3D mapping that's called 3D mapping, Marko knows a little bit more about that. So what we did, we filmed their war diaries during the 3 days of rehearsal, and we filmed the fragments of their eyes and lips just to capture some emotions. And we played a little bit with the graphics, but everything you will see on the big screen is actually performed live in front of you. So this is my part. I value your feedback, and I will give word to Cécile.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to start saying thank you very much for participating in this research experience called the e-spectator experience. As Anamarija said, we are from France. We are a research team from La Rochelle, from Lille, and also from Poitiers. And we are specialized in digital humanities and theater studies, and how can digital technologies change our way of doing research in theater studies, performing arts. And so in this experience, we are also mixing methods from cognitive science, because what we would like to know, and what we are working on from about for 2 years now, is how emotions can that we feel during a performance, a live performance, can change our way of thinking, of seeing the world. So how, to what extent performing arts with live performances can change us and have an impact more than other arts. I'm talking about literature, for instance, or painting, but also what is it to see a performance if it is direct, in direct transmission, like from Zoom. Is it the same thing to see it by Zoom than to see it with the bodies on stage? And so we will have this good experience. Not only the actors will have this experience during their performance, but you also, as spectators, you will have this response, this appreciation to see the difference. So we are leading different experiences to understand all those elements, and it's a project for research, for enhancing research in theater studies or in performing arts, as you want, but it's also a research for the promotion of performing arts, because I don't know how it was in Croatia, but in France, when during the pandemic the government said that theater, performing arts were not essential, so we didn't need them, and we realized, as not only as spectators but as citizens, that we needed them. We were missing something, and with digital technologies we would like to know what is these things we are missing when we don't have performing arts live shows, can't attend them, and so that's the idea of the project. So we are really, really happy to have you. So a part of you will annotate is emotions on a tablet during the live performance, and another part of you will annotate his emotion through a digital tool which allows you to see the a video recording of this performance that was recorded yesterday. So we are going to talk about it with the feedback after the performance, and we will be happy to have your impressions and what you think about using those tools. And that's all.
Okay. I apologize for the quality of the video performance, but it was the best we could do considering the circumstances. But I hope the important thing is to generally see the feedback, because for us who work in the theater, the most horrible thing an audience can do is watch play on a video. It terrifies me as a director. So your feedback is also important to see if anything crosses the line between the video media and the performance. Okay, so do you have questions?
I just have to say that we are Fatiha will take some notes during the performance. Laurence will help you with technical issues eventually, but she's going to talk to you about how to use the tablet. And Maya will help the part of you who are using the digital tool e-spectator. So maybe you want to explain how to use the tablet?
Yes.
Just
no, we have done.
Okay,
just yes, to help you to use this, please. Yes. We will have this tablet for this 10 persons, and you can see different pictures on the display. Oh, sorry. I just have just this demonstration, and okay, and you have it was your tab, and I have to ask you again to find this. Thank you. And generally, it's a demonstration, live rare demonstration. Sorry. Oops. And I have to validate, and it was here. I should be here. Okay, and you can see the emotion emoticons. Oh, sorry. Normally, you have to see these emoticons, and when the performance beginning, in this case, you have a different possibility to push on one emoji, and you can see here perhaps this performance leads you to have a judgment, and if you want to like this, in this case, oh yes, I like this. I love it, it's very interesting. And you can see it's very, it may be leads you to be sad. In this case, you can use different emoji. You can laugh, you can not understand what happens. And I think it's a clear, and if you have a doubt, you can see it's directly written under the emoji. Unless you are used to this, it may be you can. If you don't see, if you have something, if you feel something, you can't see on with the emoji. You have possibility to note. In this case, you have this, and you can write directly. You have a keyboard. In this case, I feel you can have not a sentence, but perhaps something you have. Your feeling, you have not signification. In this case, you can write something what you want, okay? And when you are finished, in this case, you have to push here, and okay. Then you can go on with the performance, okay? I will be here if you are doing the performance there, and you can do what you want. And the second thing you have to have in mind, if you want to say you are very sad in this case, if you may have a question of intensity. In this case, if you are very sad, in this case, you can push a 5. Okay. It's not necessary to have. If you think it's very a lot of surprise in this case. Very yes, 5. It's a lot. It's not necessary. If you have no back, it's not a problem because we know when we push on it. I don't know if you have a question. No, it's you can try now to begin. It's possible, but you have the when I push, it's recorded in the tab. You have no question about this. It's not a problem. We can see the color change. It's not obvious to see, but it's not a problem. It's recorded. Okay. And when it's finished, of course, we will ask you to give us Cécile or Fatiha different tab. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask this.
We can use different times while we are watching, or just in the end.
No. You can during the performance. You have to yes. I don't. You don't know what it means. You can misunderstanding in this case, but it's and the level of intensity is the number of time you have pushed. But it's not necessary to have this.
I just want to say something more about the emoticons you have to declare your emotions. It's something we've been thinking a lot about. We've done several experiences to know which emotions we could select. So we've been working together to annotate our emotions, writing them, and so we realized that just a few emotions we were writing on our paper, but we also used emotions classification from cognitive science. So it may seem to be really simple to you with emoticons, but actually it's something we thought that it was useful as well. You are watching a performance, it's better for you to have an emoticon to declare your emotion instead of writing something, even if you can write something as an annotation. And what we've done is that the emoticons you have on the tablets, the features you have on the tablets, the emoticons, and also the possibility to annotate whatever you want to annotate, you've got exactly the same features on the tool. So they've got the same emoticons and the possibility to annotate exactly in the same way as what you would do in the live show, as we can compare. So, oh yes, and another thing. Sorry, too excited. On the laptop, on the digital tool, they've got a performance mode. That means that they can, if they choose this mode, and we ask them to choose the performance mode, they are not allowed to stop the video. They are obliged to watch it on one time, just to be simultaneous with you, and also to not to be able to reward and see again a part of the performance, say, oh, I didn't really feel that, and it has to be very spontaneous. So that's why they are using the performance mode. But there is also an analysis mode where they can go further on the timeline, reward, but it's not the case here. We are in a performance situation.
Okay. Just one thing, you mentioned the tab. Because here you have 9 possibilities for emotion, and these are for this it's a judgment, question of judgment, just to determine.
Yes, because we realized that during several experiences that as spectators we were writing, oh, I like this, I don't like this, or I don't like this live show, I want to go out, or I really like it. But so we thought that it was very important to get the audience response or appreciation, to also have those information annotated. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so the plan is we start the performance at 5 because we have some members of the audience who are not participating in the workshop, they're just watching the performance. So I suggest that we take a 10-minute break and then we'll start. These are war diaries.
I don't recognize myself at all. Apparently nothing has changed. But the color of my eyes is the same, as is the color of my skin. And my hair almost didn't change its color. I mean, it's a little grayer, but it's the same. I didn't get thinner. I didn't slim down. And I didn't learn to do anything new, but something changed inside. And I don't know if these are actually the changes that I would like to see in ordinary life, you know, which I would come to later. Now in front of me is a stranger. I don't know what she wants. I don't know what inspires her. I don't know if she can pull a gun out of her pocket now and put it to my temple.
Pozdrav svima, ja sam Valija, imam 18 godina. Prošlo je točno tjedan dan od kad je počeo rat u mojoj zemlji. Ja sam inače iz Kijeva, ali trenutno sam u Lvovu jer je tu sigurnije. Tu sam s obitelj. Dakle, drugi dan rata, cijela moja obitelj je napustila našu kuću. Ja, tata, mama, 2 mlađa brata i 2 psa. Imamo mješanca, blesavog imena Spirin i Alf, veliki, ogromni labrador. Put je tekao dobro. Radili smo često pauze jer smo bili umorni da udahnemo malo zraka. Svi smo bili iscrpljeni, vozili smo se 18 sati. Tata nije spavao uopće 2 dana, možda sve skupo uspio spavati 2 sata. Prvu trećinu puta vozili smo se 10, maksimalno 20 na sat jer je bila ogromna gužva na cestama. I onda smo napravili tu jednu pauzu koja je, čini se, podijelila naše živote na prije i poslije. Imali smo još sat i po, maksimalno 2 puta i stali smo na benzinskoj. Mama otvorila vrata da taj labrador veliki izađe i držala ga je za ogrlicu. I bili smo blizu ceste, a on je isto bio iscrpljen od sjedenja u autu 15 sati. I na cesti je bio ogroman kamion i on se zatrčao ravno u njega.
March 30, 2022, Kyiv, Ukraine. More than a month has passed since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. From the moment we woke up on February 24th, someone at 5 a.m., someone at 6 a.m., someone at 4 a.m. Until the moment we realized that war had begun. Nobody was left aside. War didn't pass anyone. We all felt what war was. It's difficult to say what war is. I guess it's different for everyone. Before the war, I was an actress in DAKH theater, and I had this ritual to run to the park 3 times a week. A park, a forest. I did sports. I would run between private houses, down the stairs and to the park on the right. Now there's a block of defense set up by our troops, and they asked me not to run there. So I had to find another way, and this other way consists of this road that leads straight up, and I have to run 3 huge climbs to get to the forest, and the first one is so difficult, and the other one is even more difficult, and the third one, well, the third one is easier because, you know, it's the last one. And when you get to the top, there's a church on the left, and you go a bit further, and there's this beautiful view of the city. And another thing is, when I'm cooking for myself, I realize that I have to do just enough for a meal and not throw anything away. I can't throw away food. It's war, right? It's a matter of discipline.
Imamo problema sa signalom jer nestaje struje, pa uglavnom ja sam Igor, ja više nisam ni ljut, ni očajan. A evo kažu, prošlo je mjesec dana od početka rata, a posljednjih 8 godina. 8 godina koje sam ja proveo potpunosti zanemarujući realnost, a ta se realnost evo odvija sada i meni. Prije ovog rata bilo je tih glupih razgovora kao zašto oni uopće ratuju, koga oni tamo brane u tom Donbasu, dajte im već jedanput taj Donbas. Ako oni njima daju taj Donbas, onda to znači da su ti ljudi tamo svoju krv tamo. Dok sam ja ovdje živio svoj uobičajeni život i stvarao umjetnost. A mislio sam da je to bitno. Ja sam stvarno mislio da radim nešto bitno. Mislio sam kako sam ja jebeni umjetnik, kako sam cool, putovao po inozemstvu, radio projekte s Njemcima, a zapravo sve to bila takva iluzija. I ja sada imam dug. Ja imam dug prema tim ljudima, prema tim veteranima koji su 8 godina u Donbasu osiguravali mir za moj normalan život. A isto nije mi palo na pamet nijednom da odem na taj front i da vidim kako je tim ljudima i da budem s tim ljudima koji su nešto radili. Najgore od svega je što sam ja valjda mislio da je to sve neka igra, ne znam, a zapravo nije bila igra, bio je pravi rat i sad je taj rat ovdje i ovo je moj videodnevnik o 8 godina rata između Ukrajine i Rusije. 8 godina rata za našu slobodu i naš suverenitet.
Deveti ožujka. Ne znam koji je dan rata, ali kad je počelo, ja sam bila daleko u planinama na radionici pjevanja. Pjevala sam stare ukrajinske pjesme i bio je zapravo zadnji dan radionice kad su nam rekli da je počelo. I naravno niko nije mogao nastaviti s radom. Svi su bili jako prestrašeni, zabrinuti, nitko nije znao što treba raditi, gdje ići. I ni ja nisam znala otići natrag u Kijev ili ostati tu na sigurnom. I ljudi koji su nam tu ponudili smještaj i rekli su da možemo ostati koliko god hoćemo. I ja sam čak sama sebi govorila, ostani Sofija, zašto ne bi ostala? Pa život u planinama je oduvijek bio tvoj san. Ali nisam mogla ostati. I krenula sam na taj put, ali cijelo vrijeme me mučilo to pitanje otići u Kijev ili ne, otići ili ne. I svi su mi govorili da ne idem, da je potpuna ludost ići sad u Kijev i moj dečko Igor i moji roditelji i svi moji prijatelji. I ja sam onda odlučila ipak sići s vlaka u Lavovu i otputovati s prijateljima u Karpate i kao tamo iščekati kraj rata. Ali dok smo već kupovali karte za Ivanu Frankicu, ja sam shvatila u tom trenutku da ne mogu. Ne mogu biti negdje daleko dok ljudi tamo pati. Ili stalno sam si mislila šta ako se nešto dogodi, a ja nisam bila uz njega. I odlučila da sam ne, ja idem u Kijev. Doslovno sam poslije večerke kupila kartu za taj vlak. U tom vlaku bilo je svega 5 ljudi i ta kontrolorka koja je cijelo vrijeme plakala i takva je bila atmosfera da sam se ja opet počela bojati i opet preispitivati. I točno tad sam srela tog muškarca. On je bio očigledno pijan i ja sam ga se prepala u prvi tren zbog svih priča koje sam čula o takvim situacijama. Ali onda je on mene pogledao. Pogledao me s tako tužnim, s toliko nevjerojatno tužnim očima, ali toliko punim ljubavi. I rekao je, kćeri, gdje ideš, kćeri? Mi idemo tamo da vas zaštitimo, ali zašto ti ideš? Ne čini to. Ja sam tad počela plakati i samo sam mu rekla, moja ljubav je tamo. I onda me on zagrlio i rekao, ne idi, kćeri, mi moramo, ti ne moraš. Ja bi se inače klonila takvih ljudi i takvih situacija, ali sad bilo je bilo kao da je neka granica između nas izbrisana. I ja sam stvarno njegova kćer, a on je stvarno moj tata koji me sad grli s ljubavlju i sa brigom za moj život. I to mi je bilo ko neki znak, ne znam, i ja sam istrčala iz tog vlaka u suzama i samo sam sama sebi govorila ne idem, ne idem. I onda baš u tom trenutku stigla mi je poruka od prijatelja kojeg nikako nisam mogla dobiti i pisalo je, dobili smo tvoju poruku i čekamo te. I onda mi je to opet bio ko neki znak, ali doslovno s neba. Ja sam se okrenula za 180, počela trčati natrag prema tom vlaku i vikat idem u Kijev.
I don't know what she believes. I don't know if it's comfortable for her to sleep on her right or left side. It's as if I see everything the same, but not like that. And I need to get to know this person again. Again, I need to find an approach to how to work with her. Does she like to get up early in the morning, or does she sleep until noon? I have to get to know her. I have to figure out what she's like. Because she is completely different.
Jedino što mislim da nikad neću moći zaboraviti je mamu kako zavija. Nikad nisam vidjela da prolazi kroz toliku bol. Vidjela sam što donosi smrt. Vidjela sam što donosi bol, svi smo vidjeli. Onda smo imali minutu šutnje na toj benzinskoj, natočili gorivo i vozili se još tih sat, pol, dva, u potpunoj tišini. Niko nije rekao ni riječ. Mama se brzo smirila, ta histerija njena je vrlo brzo prestala. To je bio naš gubitak. Ja se nadam, prvi i posljednji u našoj obitelji. Da nije rata, mi nikad ne bi trebali seliti na zapad zemlje i ovo se nikad ne bi dogodilo. Mi smo izgubili psa. A deseci Ukrajinaca svaki dan gubi najmilije. I to je sad, eto, nova realnost Ukrajine.
The third thing is people. People. When I walk down the street, I hear explosions outside of the city and sirens. And I see people coming towards me, and at that moment, I realize that we are united by this desire to win. Not even to win, but a desire to stay, not to give up, to stay human. It feels like defending your personal freedom and defending your personal dignity. And I love people now. They're beautiful, they do so many good and generous acts. It inspires hope and faith.
užasno bojala i cijelo vrijeme preispitivala. Ali kad sam napokon stigla i našla se sa svojim dragim i nakon što smo oboje ušli u teritorijalnu obranu, tad sam napokon osjetila mir. I sad se više ne bojim. Neki dan sam u šetnji gradom srela jednu djevojku koja mi je rekla da je iz Donjecka i kako ona jednom već napustila svoj dom zbog rata, ali da sad više neće bježati. Ostajem ovdje i ne bojim se, rekla mi. I to je duh koji ja ovdje osjećam. U Kijevu, u Ukrajini. Otpor, vjera, neustrašivost. I zahvalna sam svima koji su ostali, koji šire taj duh i koji imaju nadu. Ja imam. I ja ostajem.
Da. 8 godina iluzija. 8 godina iluzija dok je tamo netko, negdje, krvario kako bih ja mogao normalno živjeti, jesti, piti, gledati u to mirno, plavo nebo, postavljati ta ista glupa pitanja kao, na primjer, zašto su oni tamo, od kojih je poslao, i baviti se umjetnošću. Koja jebena umjetnost? Koja kurčeva umjetnost dok ljudi umiru? A jebeš akademije, jebeš opere, jebeš kazališta. I onda kad mene netko danas pita što je za tebe umjetnost, ja više nemam odgovor na to pitanje. Ja ne znam, treba li umjetnost biti politična, jer ja politična. Ono što ja mislim je da umjetnost treba biti ogledalo stvarnosti i baviti se situacijom koja se odvija u svijetu, u državi, u našoj okolini, a ne nekim svojim osobnim temama i refleksijama. A ono što ja mislim je da u vrijeme rata umjetnost nam daje uvid u tuđe živote.
In these times of war, the art can bring us insight into other people's lives.
Ono što ja mislim je da umjetnost mora biti brutalna i iskrena.
Art has to be brutal and it has to be honest.
I ja mislim da umjetnost može promijeniti svijet na bolje.
Art can make a world a better place and change it for better.
Ja mislim da je umjetnost najvrijednije što ljudi mogu stvoriti.
Art is the most precious thing human can create.
A ja mislim da je umjetnost spas.
Art is our salvation. And with this, the workshop is over. Thank you. Andrii Palatnyi, the director of the original War Diaries from Ukraine. Okay. So he's gonna tell us a little bit how the project started, and we're gonna talk about our experience doing it. So you want to tell us how the project started?
You speak in English, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, organizer and director and team that you did it. Maybe I do some introduction and then we will continue dialogue. So, first of all this material that you saw, it's part that our art is done after full-scale invasion from Russian side to Ukraine. It's happened 1 year ago. And first cycle of material appeared in first week. Let's say, step back. I represent two institutions from Ukraine. It's Center of Contemporary Art DAKH Theater. It's a small theater, but these big things, let's say. And Gogolfest, it's the biggest multidisciplinary platform of contemporary art in Ukraine. In last 5 years, we did a huge projects, especially in the region near previous occupied line. It's Mariupol, it's Kherson, it's Kharkiv, Poltava, Dnipro, and all these cities now bombed. All this city, part of this were occupied. Mariupol still under Russian terror. Kherson, luckily, we returned, but still it's bombed continue. Our institution totally stopped activity, of course. You can't continue to do art when bomb fall down on art. Yeah, it's each artist in our country asks itself. Me personally also, because I'm a performer on stage, I'm curator, producer manager, and how you could do what you did when everything loses its meaning. And it's very interesting moment because theater in some moment disappeared. It's become just walls, or if bombed, no walls. But at the same time, theater returned in some way its function. It's become a shelter, it's become a volunteer center where artists and other people get together and try to manage or leave the city or accumulate some resource for another people. And first period it was like this. So theater become a survival space and let's say like last resort. But then slowly, it's strange, but slowly, step by step, we understand that people still need to see each other. People still has this demand to meet together, to stay together here and now. And it's also theater. It's always was what theater do. And we start to do little shows, very small, where people could reflect. Most of them were documental. Then we did some fairy tales because it was option for family to come together. And it's a strange moment, but if you have military time, you don't have too much possibility what to do because you have restriction on time when you could go out to the street or not. No cinemas, no supermarkets, so you really can't live your usual routine life as it was. But yet still it is. And for me now it's a very interesting moment. I would like to do also this research, how first how theater industry in general changed, because of course you could imagine all independent sector, freelancer artists totally fall down, most of them lose their jobs or go to front. Some was luckily go for some program international, but a sector lost. And state theaters, it's frozen. But still, step by step, we start open, and some shows return to the stages. We're stopping during Sirenas. If you have, we have Sirenas, we stop the show, and then you invite all audience to go to the nearest basement. And the quantity of people who could stay in the shelter connected how much people could invite to the show. So all these things coexisting is one. Talking about what DARIAH, let's say it was our trying an experiment and in some way manifest to fix it the moment, because everyone just really can't understand what to do. But at the same time, the destiny of each this artist very interesting, because even you know now from these monologues, like Igor, he went to territorial local defense. He partly has experienced what it means be artist and to become military. This Sofia story, when she returned, everyone tried to leave the city, Kyiv, but she returned because she understands that her mission to stay in this moment with her people, important with her. All these stories beautiful, and they honest, they transparent of humanity. And thank you that you tried to do it. I came a little bit late, but from the beginning I really identify all moments, and it's great. And it's very important because in some way it's also very emotional supporting us as Ukrainians from your side, that this text receive a voice here in your native language for your audience, and it's shared. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we will talk about acting. So for our performance, the main question, and then the audience can join the conversation. What it was like to act these monologues by via Zoom platform? That's my question.
For me, the Zoom part was much more personal, like a personal experience. I didn't really have a feeling that I was talking to an audience. It was very intimate. And then once I came here, it became more about sharing and like connecting to the people in the crowd, the audience. So it became much more realer and more vulnerable in that sense.
You felt more vulnerable?
Yeah.
Okay. So the rest of you?
Yeah, I agree with Mia. I felt it as well. I was really skeptical in the beginning of this what do we call
workshop.
it? Workshop. Because for me, I was always thinking theater and acting in theater is something that's live, that's in connection. Audience is in connection with the performance all the time, and it's like some energy that it's really important. And for me, like, it was impossible to imagine to do this, because if it's on a screen, then it's a movie, right? It's a film. So I was really, really skeptical, and I thought, like, there's no way any emotion can be actually transmitted through that way. But when we were rehearsing this, and when I was looking what my colleagues are doing, I was feeling totally their story, their thoughts, their emotions. So yeah, for me this is surprising.
But it's also a live performance.
Yeah.
You were all performing live
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah. I mean, what Mia said, it was definitely a change between doing a monologue by myself and then coming here. But I didn't feel it like it's not flowing. I felt like this is the next phase, you know. So I don't know. I really like that we did it like just on Zoom and then live. And I'm really more interested to hear from the audience. Did they manage to feel it? How did it work for them?
Okay.
You can all talk freestyle.
Okay. It's not direct. Okay,
Yeah.
so having a phone in my hand, it's very organic today because we have it every single day. And performing in front of my phone felt like, yeah, well, I didn't think I'm performing at all, because I felt everything so natural in the moment. And every single day we had a rehearsal, I tried to feel the moment, not to be directed in some kind of way by myself, and to act in a certain way. I wanted to act like I feel like now. And having a phone downstairs gave me the intimacy that we had talked about. And then when I came here, it started to be a little more stressing. But yeah, but the good part is that you can't see the audience because of these projectors, so no one is actually there. But it was different. It was different with my phone, and I kind of liked it. It's not like I want to do it for the rest of my life, to be an actor in front of a phone, but I liked it.
Okay.
The question for all the actors in terms of the differences between the media, between film and theater. I know you were all skeptical about using the Zoom in theater, and now after experiencing this whole process, what was theatrical in using Zoom? I know you now feel it is theater, but What was theatrical about it?
I have to have something to say about this. Yes, there was this, you know, a moment of skepsa about the stressful thing about it is just me thinking I'm going to press something wrong, I'm going to leave the Zoom in the middle of.
It happens.
It happens.
And it happens.
But actually, yes, but actually, actually playing with the phone and with the Zoom, and you know when you have to do certain things. It's actually like playing with props in theater. I mean, there are things that happen behind curtain before you get on the stage and after you get outside of the stage. You have to think about a lot of things, not just your. It's not like you magically transform into a person that you are embodying on stage. You have a lot of these tasks you have to fulfill. I have to know where my spoon is if I'm using the spoon in the scene. So actually this phone became a prop for me. Is it prop?
Yeah,
the
prop.
word?
Yeah,
the
that's
word,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Requisite.
Yeah, prop.
For me, it was like actually, okay, now what I'm doing with my phone, I'm actually acting and directing.
Yes.
And somehow it's also with the different angles that you use, or do you go wide, or do you go to some detail, just like film your eye or something?
Which we did.
It's
also.
like it's now you're directing in the same time and using dramaturgy in the same time with these changes of this prop. So it was interesting because, I mean, you know, you can use it to amplify something, and actually it wasn't that bad. It was actually good. It was okay.
And in terms of liveness, of being actually present with your body on the stage, did it still feel like theater, even though you weren't here in front of the audience?
Well, yes, but I mean, subconsciously, yeah, because you know someone is watching you in the very moment, you know.
See, for me now. For me now.
For me, yes. I kind of like I knew someone somewhere is watching what I'm doing in the very moment, but
the presence of all of us.
Yeah, I felt. I feel energies, you know.
Okay.
But I wanted to say, theatrically, well, it gives you the natural, like. Everything. I mean, we do auditions all the time with our phones. Since the corona started, we have done like so many auditions by our phone, right? And for me, theatrically, it was like it gave me the natural habitat. I don't know how to if you get what I'm saying, but that was for me.
Yeah, for me it was totally nearer that I'm doing a self-tape for some audition. I felt it more like that than theater. I mean, I did felt like I'm not alone, that I'm definitely with these people, but I didn't have a feeling that anybody else is watching it. So for me it was more like doing a self-tape or something. So when we came here and when I saw the audience, then it became theater again for me.
For me, it had like when we played with the camera, with the lights, it had like a Blair Witch Project vibe. So it had like, I didn't feel like theater at all. It was more like a documentary, which was great for me to use to make it feel realer and not have to think about or even have the thought, oh, someone's going to watch this.
But do you think it would be different if you could see the audience?
I don't know if I would look at y'all, to be honest.
I was going to look at myself when I was taping myself.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I was looking at the camera or...
Yeah. So we can
you never look at the camera.
We could say it's a bit a question of perception, of how you're perceiving what theater is, what you are doing at the moment.
It was performance, but it wasn't like theater, you know. Theater is very like grand and for me at least, that's why
I felt like I mean, it's great that this exists because okay, if we can't be in the theater because bombs are falling or whatever, then this is like so great. We can still connect, we can still spread our words through the world, but it's really different, totally different. So I miss when we are together live. It's a better feeling.
And in my case, When I saw you enter and you started talking with the first actresses, I felt like you were stressed. That was not bad, but it was interesting to see how, in a way, you were comfortable while filming yourself. But when you arrived, it was like you were a bit shy of, I don't know, of seeing us. It was different. I think it was also for me like it was different persons, because we saw your bodies, your complete bodies. Your face were also different because in the video they were a bit transformed. It was really nice, but it was different. So I just want to know how did you manage, maybe you didn't feel this stress, but I felt it a bit for you. Did you feel any stress when you arrived and you started with acting in front of us?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It was more like an adrenaline rush. I wouldn't say I was like stressed, but then we did these monologues, like I did my monologue, first half, and then the second half was here. So at the point where I started to perform in front of you, it was kind of like in the middle of the thought that was already there. So it didn't have the culmination of, you know, being calm and then going to stressed or nervous or whatever. I started at that point, which I thought was, you know, agreeing for that scene, or that part of the monologue.
Okay. Did you sense the difference in the energy when they came in?
How about the boy in the green shirt?
I think this is a really good question because what you said, because I think we didn't like felt that difference in our attitude, atmosphere, acting. Actually, I think this is something that you felt because of the difference of watching it on the screen and difference of watching us live. So that's interesting that you got it like that.
So you don't feel like being seen when we are when there is an audience with you changes your way of acting in a way?
It always does, for sure, but not in a way, oh, now we are stressed.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, I said stressed, but I don't know if it is the right word. But I saw the difference, and so I've been writing. Oh, maybe it was something that was wanted. I don't know. So it was maybe from your director who said you must appear like that. But that was very interesting to see the difference of energies.
Yes, but maybe the vulnerability.
I did feel stressed before, and I use it as a tool for my character actually. I mean, he can be stressed, right, because he is in war zone. So since I felt very stressed in the moment because something went wrong with my audio on my phone, well, I use it as a tool for my performance.
But this vulnerability, maybe stress is not the correct term, but this, I think that we caught this vulnerability. It is both the vulnerability of you as actors, maybe, and the vulnerability of the characters that merged together. And for me, it was beautiful.
Yes.
It was a beautiful thing, and I think Cécile agrees that it was beautiful. This stress we're talking about was actually great. The audience loves when
we sweat.
It was human.
Yeah, it's human.
Yes,
it's human. Okay, I have one more question for Andrii. Since you were working a lot with digital technologies in theater, I just wanted to ask you, do you see using communication platforms in theater as a last resort in extraordinary situations? Or could it be a legitimate tool in theater in general?
Thank you for this question, because it's a big topic, and I think during the conference we partly will discover it. But what I could sure to say, and what I heard already now, some elements for sure similar. For example, most of the artists, when they perform like this, they always say that it's a lack of audience. They always say about this individual feeling. of the digital space, let's say. I don't know, did you try also to make a dialogue in these circumstances? Because monologues, what we, I mean,
no, we didn't
but this is the next step, because
this is the next step, yes.
Organically, I could say the logical question: how far such type of monologues could be, and how long our audience will ready to look like this? And in our experiments, we have, we start also from small, I talk about peaceful time, not for now, but in COVID time, we did this test from short monologues, then how to make group dialogue, because Zoom has its own rhythmic, and you as artists for sure should know when your voice will be heard and how fast you could say, because otherwise all construction fall down. And this is very interesting. And also the longest monologue that we performed was 1 hour. It was part of the story, and really one artist, he had a main role, and he performed with gadget, like stage like this. He built all strategy of performing, of changing position, and it's happened. And audience was very interesting in this deep experience to see in a comfortable. Because when we also talk about such type of theater, it's also changing not only for artists, it's also changing for audience. They could sit home somewhere in comfortable place, what usually not always you have in a standard theater position, and look, stop when you would like, etc. So it's questions for discussion.
Yes.
What already was asked concerning this changing between physical presence and online, and absolutely right. There are some difference how artists technologically do it when they're alone and when they go to the stage and connect with audience. And very interesting moment, are you able to perform like this simultaneously? Yeah, what changed in your strategy when we will see the theater when, for example, I come from the street and I see all audience sit like this and all artists perform like this. What is the theater? Which possibility it could create when we keep this eye-to-eye things, but also gadget things. So this new possibility, what we need to discover. How practical part it help us? For sure, it help us to rebuild our system. Because, as I say, we did the big things before, and everything just stopped. But your experience to work digitally really help to you on management level, on promotional level, on a way of thinking, of formats, change immediately due to circumstances your activities. And as we did in a COVID time, this experiment, we did the same now. Our team were split. Women part mostly came to Europe in different region, back office organized, and men parts mostly in Kyiv or in other region in Ukraine. So I just came now for 2 days and then returned to Ukraine, because each time I need to receive permission to go out, and it's complicated procedure. So we now very connected through these gadgets. It's our real tool to organize through all over the world what we call art-resistant front, all activities that we do to support Ukraine.
This is the next topic for Cécile, because you had gadgets, some of you had gadgets, and so this is the next thing. How did monitoring the gadget impact your watching the performance actually? So Cécile, I invite you to come here, please. Okay.
I want to thank you for this beautiful performance. That was very interesting in an artistic point of view, but also for
No, speak up, please.
Speak up.
Sorry, the
Speak
kids
up.
are having a rehearsal.
It's okay.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice.
Not so many, we're okay.
Yeah. No, but to have a speak like this.
So basically, did it interfere with you watching the play?
I thought
Well, you can.
I thought it was a bit distracting because I had to think about all the emotions and emojis I had to choose while watching, and I think it's not accurate because we are experiencing a lot of emotions while watching the play or performance such as this one, and it was hard to choose only one emoji, so I chose like I chose empathy, since I found these performances to be quite emotionally engaging, but I think the app was a distraction while watching the performances.
Okay. Were there too many emoticons, in your opinion, or would you have needed more of them?
There should be more, but if there were more emojis, it would be more complex to choose between emojis. So the process of choosing the right emotion in the right moment would be even greater distraction while watching the play.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much.
I do agree with the fact that the emoticons didn't and couldn't portray all of the emotions that we felt. I had the luxury of having my laptop, not the tablet, so most of my reactions were actually typed out. And because I can type fast enough, I could watch the show, listen to the show, and at the same time type out what I was thinking. The only little issue I had with the laptop or the e-spectator thing is that when you type out a comment, it automatically leaves the last emoji that you put in. So a lot of the times I would just leave an emoji that didn't actually resonate with the message I was writing. Yeah, so when there is a message typed out, look at the message, not necessarily at the emoticon.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's a
Absolutely.
technical problem we hadn't
Yes.
seen. Yes, okay. And what did you think? So you think by using the e-spectator tool, it was in a way better for you to write your annotation. But I would like to know, for those who had the tablets, have you been using the free annotation, or was it just using the emoticons?
I was using only emoticons because it was complicated to switch on the nose and then emoticons.
Yes. And was it, sorry for asking so many questions, it's very interesting. Was it because you were attending to the live performance and you felt like you couldn't really see what you were doing, or maybe because, do you think, even if you haven't participated to the other experience, it would have been easier to type in your annotation, your free annotation?
If you were a laptop, would it be easier if you...
Like a textual comment.
Is it complicated to write on a tablet?
I would write pretty fast, but I
Yes.
think it would be still a distraction because I would have to think about the way I experience this and write at the same time. And I like to be present while watching performances.
Okay. Okay, that's it's completely true. I'm just the same. I feel like I'm more comfortable when I don't have to use digital technology. But that's a kind of bias we've got to accept when we are doing an experience like that. So it's always, it changes in a way your perception. But it's true, it doesn't have to be too invasive in your response, your appreciation. So I really like your comments. I don't know if there is more. Yes.
Regarding the e-spectator and it being distracting,
I think that if we think of it as an experiment, then it's not that much distracting, because it's not something that you're going to use every time you watch any play. It's for this particular situation, and at that moment you want to know whether we feel something and how of what intensity, and for that it does its purpose. So I don't think the distraction is that big of a problem, especially if you are on a computer, because you're writing your comment above the video and you still see and hear the video, and it's 25 minutes. So that's my comment on the e-spectator, but I have questions for later. Okay.
So, well, I think it could be then improve, well, the feature of the tool could be improved on the tablet. I think the digital is okay, but okay. So the idea of that is, as I said before, is to know how much our emotions can impact the way we see the performance, and maybe how a live performance can change our mind, our way of thinking, and maybe our way of seeing the world. So is the idea of this project is measuring your emotions to see and to analyze those elements. I don't know if my colleagues would like to ask some questions. Or,
I would like to comment on the emotion part, since I was an e-spectator. At the risk of sounding very pretentious, I thought that this was very Platonic, in a sense of Platon said that art is just a copy of a copy, and therefore it's not worth anything. And I felt, since I was watching a copy of a show, that, I mean, I had trouble receiving the emotion. I didn't feel connected to the actors. I can respect the stories, I can respect the people, but I did not feel an emotion through two screens. So for this show in particular, I didn't feel like it was theater. I felt like it was a performance, but I don't know how to exactly translate it from Croatian, called naš performance. Umjetnički performance.
Like some kind of artistic performance, but not like a concert.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was a theatrical show. I thought it was performance art more.
But yours was really a copy of a copy of a copy. Yeah, so I understand.
I feel like a lot was lost in that translation.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a similar impression, but I didn't jump to the conclusion that, I'm not saying that that's not right. I'm just open to there being one more possibility. It's more of a question maybe for the director than for the actors. What was the method that you used? Was this, were they supposed to perform a monologue that is then recorded, or were they supposed to perform something that is a video blog from a place where there is something happening, from a war zone or something like that?
No, they're supposed to perform a monologue live. So their monologue are not recorded, they were live, but you watched it as a pre-recorded. And each of them chose a monologue, and they thought, we thought about the place, whether to put the character in a small confined place or the outdoors. We also had some monologues which were outdoors. But the point was to make the monologue their own, so I didn't direct exactly their space and their, this what Carmen said, they were directing themselves. We just talked about it. But the point is to do it live, to actually do it live. And this part that was on the smaller screen, that was recorded before, because we wanted to see what happens when you do a little bit fragments, and when you recognize the faces in a different ambience, and then you like get the idea, okay, so there are several monologues, not just one. There are several monologues, and it's going on for some time. but the main screen has to be live. Yeah.
No, I understand that it is live. The reason I'm asking this is we are all introduced to the concept of a video blog, and the kind of material that you were working with seemed very, very good for the concept of a video blog, where you have your own thoughts, you're in that place, and you're at that very moment recording yourself.
I understand that. Was it supposed to be a video blog?
Where is it?
Yeah.
But it's really important what you say, because this material is a material that can be a video blog, and some other material like how Shakespeare or whatever, it would be completely.
And that is the very reason I'm asking this, because if we are inspecting this kind of theater where you're using Zoom, and you have a material that is pretty much a video blog material, then this first part of your performance has a power to be very, 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 very impactful. In my opinion, I didn't see it entirely because I didn't understand whether you are, what you said, videotaping yourself or using the concept of a video blog. That is why I asked what was your method, because maybe I'm not questioning the method.
It's okay to question the method, it's an experiment.
It's an experiment. I'm just saying that if that the method, if the concept was the first part, is there a literal video blog, and we're watching, even if we're watching it on Zoom, it has the power to be emotional. For me personally, it wasn't emotional because I didn't see it as a video blog. I saw it as a recorded monologue, which is, in my opinion, a pity. And the second part, when you arrived to the stage, that was just, it was a performance that, it looked like a recorded performance. And
you watched it on laptop, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It looked as a recorded performance, and there wasn't a difference in the way the emotions were transmitted in the first part and the second part.
There wasn't?
No, there wasn't, because again, the first part wasn't, I didn't see the concept of the video blog. So, to stop talking and to let everybody else to ask the questions, I think this material is very grateful for this kind of theater. And therefore, not the best way to question this kind of theater, because it can work, but only in, I'm not going to say only, but if it is going to work, it's going to work with something like this. So in the future, thinking of.
Okay, thank you.
So we have 2 more minutes.
Yes, we have 2 more minutes, and then we can move downstairs.
Yes, we can move downstairs.
Okay.
Just would like to answer to your comment. Just saying that the idea of developing this tool was not to reproduce the condition of the live show. It's more to give a tool for people who couldn't attend to some performances they would have liked to. So we've got this possibility to watch it on the performance mode to recreate artificially the condition of a live performance. So that was the first thing. So we know we are watching a copy, and it's impossible to reproduce a live performance, never. But also, yes, we've made recently an experience to see how intense could our body feel the experience of a live show. So the comparison was between attending to a live show and attending, just like you did, to a show but from a video recording. And I will talk about it tomorrow, we put some sensorial captors on each spectator body, and obviously we realized by consulting the results that the experience is very, very different and much more intense. So we've got this nice confirmation that live
performance is unique and not reproducible. Well, I completely agree with what you said, and well, the idea is just to give a tool for people who couldn't attend performance, and if I couldn't be here, I would have been able to see what you did today, which was beautiful, and to have a part of it, to experiment a part of it.
And before we end, before we go downstairs, just a hint for further discussion. Well, when I first tested your tool, I saw it more as a great interactive tool for noting down my comments on some performance as a theater scholar. So I see it as a great tool, as an interactive notebook for theater scholars to do their research. So maybe to think also about this aspect of using the tool, not only as a means for reproduction,
yes,
but also
yes,
for noting down
further
research.
Okay.